I am not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test, part 41, Religious Conflicts, part 5. That is on page 23. While doing morning stretching, and if you participate in the morning stretching, that is at your own risk. So we were just here at the last sentence, that also when in England, Wales and Scotland, Protestants regained its strength, the ideas of it. So the Protestants, which was a time of Reformation across Europe and also in England, Scotland and Wales, the people wasn't that much in favor of the ideas and practices of the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope. And that fits to mention it here in the book because we're just by Henry VIII, who wanted divorce from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. And he needed the allowance of the Pope, and the Pope wasn't giving that. And so he decided to leave the Roman Catholic Church and found the Church of England, of which he was the state, and he could say how people should worship or pray and what bishops were set into place. In Ireland, however, attempts by the English to impose Protestantism alongside efforts to introduce the English system of laws about the inheritance of land led to rebellion from the Irish chieftains and much brutal fighting followed. Here we have for the first time something explained to a fighting. Here are a lot of battles mentioned, and there was never anything said what happened there. So in these battles there were not just battles happening, but people died in these battles, just if it isn't clear. Do we know anything about Ireland and the land? Now the system developed in southern Scotland, the same system developed in southern Scotland. Here's talk about feudalism, must it be? Yes, feudalism, so that the king is lending land to the lords. And the lords are sending them people for the war efforts of the king. Feudalism. And in Scotland developed this also. But in north of Scotland and Ireland, so in Ireland, land was owned by members of the clans. So we have that important point here. So in Ireland, land was owned by the clans, which are important families. And the English tried to impose Protestantism, and alongside that they tried to introduce a system of laws about the inheritance of land. That has something to do with it, but I don't think we will know more, and I'm doubting that that will be part of the life of the UK test. However, that led to rebellion and brutal fighting, that the English tried to introduce Protestantism and how the land is inherited in Ireland. So there was fighting between the people in Ireland, the Irish, and the English about Protestantism and, I guess, the Roman Catholic Church. Let's start with the morning stretch. We're having the legs standing wide apart. We're breathing in and going down. And we're breathing out. And breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Last round, breathe in. And out. Again in. And out. And close the legs. And let's do the first exercise. We're having the legs standing a bit more than shoulders wide apart. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up. And we're breathing out and going to one side. And breathe in and open the ribcage. And breathe again out. And breathe again in. And out back into the middle. Breathe again in. And out now to the other side. And breathe in and open the ribcage. And out. And again in. And out. So I just said something about that King Henry VIII wanted to divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, And I wanted to go over the 6 wives of Henry VIII to look whom he divorced from, so we have another way to remember them if necessary. And it will be necessary because it's written, you may, okay, that is not clear, but they are so specific about this, you may be asked specific questions about Henry VIII's wives. So about that subject we should not know some broad understanding, but we should actually know every detail. As well as the facts given here, you should learn to the order he married them in. So he divorced from Catherine of Aragon, his first wife, and he divorced of Anne of Cleves, his 4th wife. Cleves, I'm still staying with what I said about how to remember it, that Anne of Cleves was the 4th wife of him. With Cleves sounds like card game or quartet. And it also makes in another way sense, because in a card game and a quartet, there are the dame, soldier, tinker, or whatever card names are, and they don't really matter in that sense. They are just placed queen, queen heart, queen, and so on. So that Anne of Cleves was just a German princess who he married for political reasons and not for love. And he divorced her soon afterwards. So Anne of Cleves divorced and that's it. He divorced 2. He divorced his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and his 4th wife, Anne of Cleves. Then he executed his 2nd wife, Anne Boleyn, and also his 5th wife, Catherine Howard. And Howard, I'm staying with Howard. How are you? High five, the 5th one. Anne Boleyn, the 2nd one. And the 3rd one, Jane Seymour in the middle, the only one with not Anne or Catherine. And the last one, Catherine Parr. I don't want to write around of a name, but Parr, double R. Why not that as the last name, Catherine Parr? And Catherine of Aragon, that's the most, I don't want to say anything to names, but it's the longest name, let's stay with it, Catherine of Aragon. So, in Ireland, it was tried by the English to introduce also Protestantism. So that is part of a reformation against the Roman Catholic Church, the ideas and practices of the Roman Catholic Church. Here is some other ideas what Protestantism means. That is reading the Bible not in Latin, but in the language which is spoken naturally by the person, not to pray to saints or at shrines, and believing that the own relationship with God is more important than submitting to the authority of a church. During the reign of Henry VIII, Wales became formally united with England by the Act for the Government of Wales. So what is the name? During the reign of Henry VIII, Wales became formally united with England by the Act for the Government of Wales. Is that the name? Act for the Government of Wales? Or is it that by the Act for the Government of Wales? I don't know. Let's look at this again after this exercise. Again, the hands are standing, the legs are standing comfortable, a bit more than shoulder wide apart. We're breathing in and the arms down. Breathing in. And we're breathing out, and one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in. And out, and the arm comes over. And breathe again in. The arm ribcage. And out. And breathe again in. And out. And breathe again in. And out, and one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in. And out, and the arm comes over. And breathe in, and up the ribcage. And out. And again in. And out, back into the middle, and we don't have that much time left. We're going to do the last standing exercise. The feet are staying together, breathing in and lifting the arms up. And out, and one arm comes down. And breathe in and reach the both ends. And out. And again in. And out, and one arm comes down. And breathe in and reach. Again in and out. And breathe in and reach. And out. And the last time, breathe in and out. And breathe in and reach. And out. Wales became formally united with England by the Act for the Government of Wales. The Act for the Government of Wales. The Welsh sent representatives to the House of Commons and the Welsh legal system was reformed. We know about the legal system of England, that there is the common law developed out of precedent cases and tradition. Now I said something about that. In Scotland we have learned that the laws were codified and that meant written down, and in England it must be something else than written down. Let's stay that open, but we don't know what had happened to that laws, if they were written down or if they were just spoken or whatever. Let's keep it open. We don't know how the common law in England was transmitted. So in the Welsh sent representatives to the House of Commons. In England there are two houses, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. In the House of Commons there are the wealthy people from towns and cities and knights who were voted in. That was around 1300. We don't have really dates, so around 1300 must it be. And now by around 1500 something, there the Welsh were sending representatives to the House of Commons, and also the legal system of Wales was reformed. And that has more or less something to do with formally united with England by the Act of Government. We know also that with the Statutes of Rutland, King Edward I made or declared that Wales as a part of England, and around 200 years take until that was when established and the power was maintained by castles like Conway or Cornwall. And now we are around 1500, so that would be 300 years after the Statutes of Rutland, 1284. There, with the Act of Government for Wales, or whatever the name is, it was united, and Wales was sending representatives to the House of Commons, and the legal system of Wales was reformed. The next exercise, breathing the legs standing wide apart, we're breathing in, and we're breathing out, and we're hanging down. And we're just helping to come deeper down by breathing in, into the nose, through the nose into the chest, and out through the mouth. And again in, and out. Again in, and out. Again in, and out onto the other leg, and breathe in, and out, and again in, and out over to the other leg, and breathe in, and out, again in, and out back into the middle, and breathe in, and out. We're coming up, around back, and making at the top of the leg. Let's shout it out. 1 minute left, last exercise. The feet are standing together, breathing in, and out, and we're hanging down. And breathing in through the nose and the chest, and out, and again in, and out, again in, and out, the last time in, and out, and coming slowly up, round back, and making it a top, backwards shoulder. Now closing exercise, we're breathing in, out, again in, and out, again in, and out, and in, out. We're closing the legs, and we're done with the morning stretching. don't have time with. We will continue in part 6 about religious conflicts. So thank you very much, and next time.